The Book of Job, chapters 22 through 31, The Great Debate, third cycle of speeches. In studying this section, 1. To examine the conclusion of the Great Debate and the feeble efforts of Job's friends to convince him that he is deserving of his great suffering. 2. To observe how Job maintains his claim to innocence while stating his complaint that God is not hearing him. Eliphaz once again takes the initiative, rebuking Job for his claims of innocence, accusing Job of great wickedness. For the first time, he specifies sins of which he believes Job must be guilty to have suffered so greatly, charging Job of cherishing wicked ways and trusting that God doesn't see it. Eliphaz ends with another appeal for Job to return to God that he might enjoy renewed prosperity, 1 through 30. Job's response is to once again express his longing to find God so he can present his side, while maintaining his claims of integrity and how he has treasured God's words. He admits he is awed by God's dealings. He wonders why the wicked often sin with impunity, but then he says what he thinks should and will eventually happen to them. He concludes his response to Eliphaz with a challenge to show him where he has spoken falsely. Chapter 23, 1 through 24:25. Bildad's third speech is short, adding little. Speaking briefly of God's greatness, he posets how any can be righteous before God. Chapter 5, 1 through 6. Job replies with questions which imply that he considers Bildad's counsel to have been of no help. Perhaps to illustrate how they have not been much help, Job demonstrates his own ability to describe God's greatness. Chapter 26, 1 through 14. Zophar remains silent in this third cycle of speeches, so Job continues with his discourse. Though he feels that God has taken away his justice and made his soul bitter, he refuses to accept his friends' counsel and maintains his innocence. He accuses them of nonsense and describes what God will do with the wicked. Chapter 27, 1 through 23. Job then says where true wisdom is to be found, that it comes from God, who has revealed it to man. Chapter 28, 1 through 28. As his words draw near to their end, Job recounts how it was in the past when he was blessed by God and respected by men. Chapter 29, 1 through 25. In contrast, the present finds him being mocked by others, suffering in pain, with God not answering his plea to be heard. Chapter 30, 1 through 31. He concludes by listing various sins, which if he had committed them, he agrees he would have been guilty of punishment. In this way, he again maintains his claim to innocence, and not deserving his great suffering. Chapter 31, 1 through 40. For Job and his three friends, this ends the great debate. Here ends the study of the Book of Job, chapters 22 through 31, the great debate, third cycle of speeches.